Hello. Speaking off the cuff here. My name is Roosevelt. The first 3 minutes of this video is going to be simply me laying out the introduction and explaining my particular experience and backstory. Thank you for watching, and I hope you take into consideration the ideas that I lay out in this video today. Thanks!
Good evening, friends and foes alike. My name is Rose. Today I'd like to present to you a video in which I lay out my experience within the American education system and how I believe we can fix the emergent problems of self-worth and quality of life therein. Personally, I had a rather unique experience as it pertains to school growing up, or so I thought. It actually turns out many people were just like me. When I say they were just like me, I don't mean in appearances or any other surface level descriptor. What I mean is a vast majority of the youth enter into the American education system unsettled, unsure, and unprepared. Speaking for myself, my life was filled with physical and emotional abuse from the earliest age at which I can remember. This abuse led me to developing a view of the world that looked vastly different to that of my peers. Where they sought success and received support in their endeavors, mine were ridiculed and talked down on, seen as nothing more than worthless attempts to differentiate myself. I was told over and over the value of my person was intrinsic on how much I could make, and yet I was never taught how. I was simply told to do, ridiculed for not knowing how, and the rest was up to me. Entering into the education system at around 4, I began kindergarten. My early adolescence and throughout into middle school, I was simply a target of ridicule for my father. I was unhealthy and overweight, which was a direct mirror to him, who was also several hundred pounds overweight. My intelligence was questioned repeatedly until I was diagnosed simply as a failure. As I got into high school, my desire to truly learn anything was gone. I could not fit in at home no matter how hard I tried, and there was no easier in school. Yet, school was a place no one bothered me. I was 6'2" by my senior year, and I was close to 300 pounds. Every day I would be in school suspension, not because I acted out, but because I would skip class constantly to go hang out with the friends I had managed to make. School was not a place to learn, but a place to share mutual experiences with my peers. Learning had no bearing on whether my life at home would improve. All of this being said, I am grateful for one thing. I do happen to be quite smart, or at least some people tell me. So as a smart good-for-nothing loser with no worthwhile skills that anyone would find value in, I present to you my solution to fixing American education.
To fix something would denote that it's not working, or it's not working correctly. When I say I wish to fix American education, I mean just that. To mend that which is broken. In argument for this point, I want to draw attention to the perception of worth in this country. Currently, there are individuals that produce millions upon millions of dollars simply by maintaining an online presence and persona. There are those who make millions from sponsorships with already established corporations like Coca-Cola or Gucci. Others receive donations from generous viewers, while some feel entitled to the money and will consistently beg until donations are given. Now, these aren't the only jobs available for the youth, and yet it is one of the most, or some of the most, sought after. Why? Why is becoming an internet influencer so profitable and so sought after? To me, it's obvious. The idea of being a larger than life character that others will pay simply to watch on a day to day basis is a tantalizing prospect. As a career, it is an essentially laid back one, opening one's phone, recording a couple of silly 30-second clips, and sending them off to an editor. My point is this: these careers devalue a youth's perception of much more noble yet difficult jobs, such as road workers, truckers, electricians, plumbers, constructionists, psychologists, public safety officials, firefighters, police officers. Quality of life is determined by how much money one has, not by how noble the profession. To fix this, I propose a nationwide abolition of Common Core. Upon its destruction, I will implement three policies. First, redefine education in America along a framework that deviates from a streamlined, one size fits all approach to a more personal and equitable system of individual growth without pressure of failure. Second, introduce a system capable of determining transient or emerging industries within which human workers are essential. Third, establish incentives for youth to participate in education. In this scenario, as you can see, primary education in schools would not be mandatory and would not be mandated by any literacy law or national standard. Instead, education would serve as a backbone and baseline for youth seeking knowledge on how to elevate their social, economic, and political quality of life, while also providing the venue in which to do so. My assumption is the majority of parents will enter their children into education anyway, so that there is no need to mandate literacy. Initiatives for completing courses will be given to students. Upon review, suggestions from the students can be considered as to rewards they'd like to receive as incentives to which they may be granted within reason. Should education continue for any prolonged period of time, the tier of incentives will increase, giving access to more profound rewards. I know what you might be thinking. This sounds different, and you would be right. It is an absolutely alien idea, and yet I'm drawn to it nonetheless. While I would love to go into greater detail, it would require several hours of historical analysis and the development of solutions and explanations for teachers and superintendents. That is to say, time I do not have right now. This video is just a way to express my ideas in a formatted and digestible way, with 90% of the meat cut out. I'm currently working on a document I call Defining a Path, which is a work in progress, yet more of my ideas and state of mind are laid out there. I will provide a link in the description. Now that you've made it to the end, what do you think? Is education a good place to start with the change in the country? Do you agree or disagree with anything I've said? Why? And let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from my fellow Americans. Thank you.